Walk Wire.
Good morning, Jay. This is Paul and Taylor.
Hello.
And we had to rebuild your front seat frame and your back seat frame. Front seat frame was basically only half a frame, and the back seat back was not off at the bottom, or rotted off at the bottom. So we did both of them. We also did, you probably saw in your update, we also did these frames. They weren't rotted, they were just like dry and cracked, and they weren't going to last. We did reuse these two pieces of wood for your floor. Now your flooring originally was probably a ribbed black rubber mat. So we can get that for you if you want it.
There's a sample of it laying around here somewhere. It actually came out of this boat.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Yeah, and, well, okay, so Taylor found some of it actually in the boat. So
your drain. On the drain here?
Mm-hmm.
We need, I don't know if you have the T-handle.
It's there.
Where?
We got it.
Oh.
It's in a box.
Okay.
Okay, so we also had to replace your copper line for your oil pressure gauge. It was too short to fit behind the ceiling boards up here, so we just replaced it from right back at the engine to up here to the gauge. Let's see, and then of course these floor panels were cracked, and rather than glue them together and have them crack again, we just replaced all three of these up here. And of course your seat bottoms are new as well, and the front panel that goes on these triangles, the front panel that goes on here gets varnished. So same thing on the back seat. The front panel that goes here gets varnished, so those are off for that. This area, the crash rail goes here, right here, and this area underneath the crash rail should be stained and varnished. Didn't know if you wanted us to do that or if you wanted to do it once you got it home. Well, actually, you need to have us do it, because once you get it home, if you're varnishing, you're going to get it more than likely on your upholstery. The other area is right under the crash rail. Is going to be about 1.5 inches wide, and so it's going along there. And this area underneath where my finger is, that needs to be varnished. So we'll show you here too. Crash rail is going to come to here, and this area down here is supposed to be varnished, stained and varnished. Taylor got the message about wanting to put the screws in back there. That's not a big deal. Let's see. Oh yeah, your fuel tank should have a shut-off valve at the top of the fuel tank, and it doesn't. And we generally put a fuel filter on, and then your fuel line should be run right next to the stringer, so that you can't, it's protected by the stringer and you can't drop anything into the bilge and cause a problem with your fuel line. The other thing that was a little weird is this hose is a little short on your water intake, and then normally that's the way it was done at the factory, but you can see how loose it is, and we haven't loosened it, so that really ought to be a longer piece of hose. And we really ought to put a hose barb down here. They did put the hoses on straight. You're going to suck air right there instead of water is what's going to happen. And you're not going to have the cooling water capacity that you need. But anyway, so I would put a hose barb in there as well. Those weren't, of course, being made back in the day when this was built, but I would put a hose barb on there. And then that hose right there, instead of being clear reinforced water hose, should be a real heavy hose that's made out. We actually use an exhaust hose it's cloth reinforced. It's not wire reinforced, but it's cloth reinforced. So, yeah, your T-handle's in that box over there, too.
Oh, okay.
And so anyway, of course, we built a new battery box. You didn't really have a battery box at all, and put it on just a new plywood shelf. I think that's about it. This socket right here didn't have the pin in the center of it, so and the insulated washer and so forth, so we put that together for you.
Sure will.
And we also then just put new wire to your socket here, because the screws were still good in that socket that's inside there. Steering wheel will have to come out for the to put the crash rail on, and because you can't get your stapler around the doggone thing, and so we'll have to pull the steering wheel for that. And so the question is, yeah, we're probably we might be able to make it without pulling the steering wheel, but it's a real pain in the ass. Probably save enough time. So while the wheel's off, if you wanted us to actually fill the cracks and with epoxy and paint that, we can do that. So
Make it look brand new.
and make it look brand new. Yep. Also when we installed the choke, and when we started pulling on the choke cable, the dash started moving on us. So we through bolted the dash using the same screw holes that you had, but I don't know if I can't see the picture. Hopefully you can see the picture. And so we through bolted it using the same screw holes. We just put machine screws in there instead, and now that's all steady. So that's where we are right now. We're working on entering the time to see where we are in terms of costs. Because I'm sure you'll want that information I guess you're going to want that information before you decide if you want some of these extras that we're talking about. We got to build a block that goes in here and continues that curve down for the crash rail. You're missing one over there. You see that little notch right there? You're missing one.
We're good back here.
Huh?
We're good back here.
Yep, we are good back here. I think you already put one in there. So we do need to probably shave that down just a little bit right there, but you're essentially good back everywhere else. So, to change this hose back here, if you decide you want to go with the reinforced exhaust hose back here, of course we need to pull the shaft, prop shaft, in order to change that hose. And you said you're missing lock wire? You're missing lock wire on your hub. The set screws on your hub should have a lock wire going through the set screw.
And lock wire on the flywheel bolts too.
And you're missing that lock wire, and you're missing lock wire on the flywheel bolts as well. So we'll take care of that lock wire for you. It's not a big deal, just a deal with stainless lock wire. Okay, that's the latest. Thank you, Jay.